The rain that night felt like it was trying to wash the entire city away. Lightning split the sky, sirens screamed in the distance, and flames from a burning patrol car reflected on the wet asphalt like a nightmare that refused to end. In the middle of that chaos, a single father named Daniel Carter stepped out of his old pickup truck, and what he discovered in the shadows of that storm would change not only his life, but the entire police department forever. Before we continue, if you believe that kindness can change lives and that everyone deserves a second chance, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in humanity, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these powerful stories reach more hearts. Daniel Carter had never planned to become a hero. In fact, most people in the city barely noticed him. By day, he worked as a mechanic in a small garage on the edge of town, fixing engines that other people had given up on. By night, he returned home to the one person who mattered most in his life, his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Since his wife had passed away 3 years earlier from a sudden illness, Daniel had been raising Lily alone, doing everything he could to make sure she never felt the emptiness he carried inside his own heart. That stormy night, Daniel had stayed late at the garage finishing a difficult repair. The rain was so heavy that the windshield wipers of his truck struggled to keep up. Roads were nearly empty as he drove through the industrial district on his way home. That was when he saw the flames. At first, he thought it was a car accident. A patrol vehicle had slammed into a concrete barrier, its front end crushed and smoke pouring from beneath the hood. Fire flickered dangerously close to the fuel tank. The flashing red and blue lights painted the rain-soaked street in chaotic colors. Daniel slowed the truck, his heart pounding. Then he saw movement. Near the side of the wrecked patrol car, a police officer was lying on the ground. A young female officer in uniform. Her body was soaked from the rain, and blood mixed with the water pooling beneath her. Most people might have hesitated. Police scenes meant trouble. Investigations. Questions. Risk. But Daniel didn't hesitate. He slammed the truck into park and ran through the rain. As he knelt beside her, the flames from the patrol car crackled behind them. The officer's breathing was shallow, her face pale beneath the rainwater running down her cheeks. Her name badge read Officer Emily Reyes. Daniel wasn't a doctor. He wasn't trained for emergencies. But years of raising Lily alone had taught him something important. When someone needed help, you didn't stand there thinking about it. You acted. Carefully, he checked her pulse. It was weak, but it was there. The fire behind them suddenly flared louder. Daniel knew the patrol car could explode. Without thinking twice, he lifted Officer Reyes from the ground. She was heavier than he expected, her soaked uniform dragging against his arms, but adrenaline pushed him forward. Step by step, he carried her through the rain toward his truck. The moment he placed her in the passenger seat, the patrol car behind them erupted with a deafening blast. The explosion lit up the night like lightning. Flames shot into the air, shattering nearby windows and sending debris across the road. Daniel ducked instinctively, shielding the unconscious officer. For a moment, the world went silent except for the pounding rain. Daniel jumped into the driver's seat and sped toward the nearest hospital. Inside the emergency room, chaos followed. Doctors and nurses rushed Officer Reyes into surgery while Daniel stood soaked and shaking in the hallway, water dripping from his clothes onto the hospital floor. Hours passed. Daniel considered leaving many times. After all, he had already done what he could. Lily was probably waiting for him at home. But something in his heart wouldn't let him walk away. Just before sunrise, a doctor finally approached him. Officer Reyes was alive. She had suffered severe injuries and had lost a dangerous amount of blood, but if Daniel hadn't found her when he did, she would not have survived. The doctor's words felt unreal. Daniel simply nodded, relieved. He thought that would be the end of it. He was wrong. 3 days later, Daniel arrived at the hospital again, bringing a small stuffed teddy bear Lily had insisted on sending to the injured officer. But when he walked into the hallway, he froze. Dozens of police officers filled the corridor. Uniforms. Detectives. Even high-ranking officials. Daniel suddenly felt out of place, like he had stepped somewhere he didn't belong. Then the police chief approached him. The entire hallway fell silent. What Daniel didn't know was that Officer Reyes had been working undercover on a dangerous investigation involving a violent criminal group. The crash hadn't been an accident, it had been an attempted assassination. The chief explained that the criminals believed she had died in the explosion. Daniel's actions had secretly saved the only witness who could bring them down. The room of officers looked at him not with suspicion, but with respect. A quiet mechanic. A single father. Someone who had simply stopped to help. Within weeks, Officer Reyes recovered enough to speak publicly. When the case went to court, her testimony helped dismantle one of the most dangerous criminal networks in the region. News stations reported the story across the state. But Daniel avoided the spotlight. He still woke up early every morning, still worked at the same garage, still picked Lily up from school every afternoon. To him, nothing had changed. Except one thing. Months later, on a sunny Saturday afternoon, Officer Emily Reyes stood outside Daniel's small home holding a box. Inside the box was a brand new bicycle. For Lily. She explained that Daniel hadn't just saved her life, he had saved countless others by stopping those criminals. Lily hugged the officer tightly. Daniel watched quietly from the porch, realizing something he hadn't thought about before. Sometimes heroes aren't the ones wearing badges or uniforms. Sometimes they are ordinary people who simply choose compassion when the world gives them a reason not to care. And sometimes, one moment of kindness can echo farther than anyone ever expects. Before this story ends, I have a small request for you. In the comments below, write the word kindness if you believe one good action can change the world. Because Daniel Carter never tried to be famous. He never expected recognition. But his courage reminded an entire police force, and thousands of people who later heard the story, that humanity still exists even in the darkest storms. And if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more powerful stories that remind us what truly matters in life. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness becomes the greatest miracle someone will ever experience. Red Heart.